October 2002, the first episode of Naruto aired in Japan. It wasn't long until Japanese developers saw the potential and success of this show and started making Naruto video games. In this series, we look forward to exploring the complete history of Naruto games, as well as their evolution. Welcome to part 1 of the series, the Japan Wars. Two publishers got a hold of the Naruto license, Bandai and Tomy, and for 8 years they competed with each other, launching Naruto games at the same time or very close to each other. This war lasted from 2003 all the way to 2011. Bandai was the first one to launch a Naruto game. Naruto Konoha Ninpocho for the WonderSwan Color, which was also a Bandai console, which was only released in Japan. This was a traditional RPG with a turn-based battle system, something that was quite easy to develop and release as soon as possible, because more often than not, if you're the first company to market, then you'll be successful, and Bandai definitely wanted to be the first one to release a Naruto game. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough for Bandai to find success, as that was the only game of that series to ever be released, and it ended up being the only Naruto game on the WonderSwan Color, a console which Bandai discontinued later that year because it simply could not compete with the Game Boy Advance. But only a month after Konoha Ninpocho, Tomy was about to release a game that would put them on the Naruto map forever. Naruto Gekto Ninja Taisen, which would later become known in the West as Naruto Clash of Ninja, for the Nintendo GameCube. Tomy was the first one to release a game for the big boy consoles, while Bandai was focused on releasing one for their handheld. But you could argue that both games were rushed. Clash of Ninja, despite being a more traditional fighting game, more action-oriented like Naruto fans wish for, as a fighting game it had a very small roster with only 8 characters and a lack of depth in mechanics that made it easy to learn, but not that fun to play over long periods of time. Still, the Nintendo GameCube was now Tomy's platform, and they didn't stop there. Just a month later, Tomy launched another series that would become pretty popular on handheld consoles, Naruto Saikyo Ninja Daikeshu for the Game Boy Advance, which would later in the West become known as the Ninja Council series. Even on this handheld console, Tomy kept their focus on the action, making a side-scrolling brawler with a few of your favorite Naruto characters. You could tell some parts of this game were also rushed because you actually repeat the same level twice, just with a different boss fight at the end, before you're able to move on to a different level. Bandai tried to compete by releasing a game on the original PlayStation, and this was 2003, the PlayStation 2 had already been released. But since this was just a board game, kinda like Monopoly, it ended up being a flop. This one was actually developed by Dimps, who you might know from Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Yeah, they used to make stuff like this. Bandai wasn't the only one struggling. Tomy also had a few bumps in the road, releasing a pretty bad turn-based strategy game for the Game Boy Advance, probably given the recent success of Advance Wars in that platform. Tomy thought they could captivate that audience, as well as the Naruto audience, and they were wrong, because at this point Naruto fans had already shown a bias towards action games. And in October of 2003, in partnership with CyberConnect 2, Bandai releases their biggest Naruto investment to date, Naruto Narutime Hero for the PlayStation 2, which would become known as the Ultimate Ninja series here in the West. Not at all similar to Tomy's Clash of Ninja series, which you could compare to something like a Virtua Fighter. This one was rather unique and made good use of the Naruto license. It was mechanically easy to grasp, but with its fast pace and a lot of options on how to attack your opponent, despite its limited roster and a small number of maps, it quickly became the fan favorite. To fight Ultimate Ninja's success, Tomy was very quick to put out their second Clash of Ninja game. While they didn't necessarily expand on the fighting system, they did increase the roster to 20 characters and added a 4-player multiplayer mode. And in the grand scope of the history of Naruto games, we're only getting started. Just to give you guys some perspective, this was only the first year of Naruto games. 2003 saw 7 Naruto games released, 3 from Bandai and 4 from Tomy, with Tomy dominating the Nintendo platforms with their games on the GameCube and Game Boy Advance, and Bandai with 1 game on their now defunct WonderSwan Color and Sony's PlayStation 1 and 2. The fight continued in 2004, where Tomy released not only a sequel to their Ninja Council game on Game Boy Advance, where they had absolutely no competition from Bandai, so they also decided to keep on betting on that handheld market, releasing their first Naruto RPG also on Game Boy Advance, which would later become known in the West as the Path of Ninja games. This game was a higher quality product than Bandai had first released with Konoha Ninpocho, a true JRPG retelling the story of Naruto, with some depth to its battle system with different characters you could pair up in a party and align them for different bonuses. But 2004 also saw a sequel to Bandai's newfound popular franchise, Naruto Hero 2, which blew up in sales, solidified Bandai's position as a bona fide Naruto game maker. This game really went out of its way to address criticism and add new content. They went from 12 characters in the first game to 32 characters. Their story mode added some mini games as well as free roaming, something no one had done in a 3D Naruto game to date. It also allowed you to customize the characters you pick by equipping them with different jutsu before heading into battle. And they also added a ton of maps and just a lot of new content. And just like the previous year, Tomy responded by releasing a new Clash of Ninja. Gekto Ninja Tyson 3 tried changing the formula a bit. Looking at the success of Ultimate Ninja and the hype behind ultimate attacks and transformations, this game gave you the chance to change forms during combat, like Naruto entering Kyuubi mode for instance, as well as introducing team special attacks in tag team mode. But at this point, Tomy was falling behind. They were playing catch up with Bandai and the features their fans loved. Not to mention, the PlayStation 2 sales were skyrocketing, and since Tomy was releasing their games with Nintendo, they might not have picked the best partner for this race. On the handheld side though, Tomy still reigned supreme with no competition. Nintendo launched the DS, and with it, Tomy made the transition for both their series. Ninja Council 3 and Naruto RPG 2 both made it to the DS in 2005. The games didn't change that much, despite the change of platform, but they did make use of the touchpad and added a lot of playable characters to both games. Smelling the blood in the water, Bandai doubled their efforts to solidify their position with the PlayStation 2 and started the new Naruto series, Naruto Uzumaki Ninden, which later became known in the West as Uzumaki Chronicles. The free roaming of Ultimate Ninja 2 proved to be popular, so Bandai focused this game on that aspect. This was a 3D game where you could explore the Konoha village and surrounding territories, with the freedom that players wanted. As far as combat went, it was rather shallow, but Bandai quickly learned what made Naruto fans happy. Free roaming, graphics, and the latest characters from the show, which is why, even to this day, the Naruto community is very split about whether or not these games were any good. Because gameplay-wise, they don't feel great. It doesn't help that they haven't aged well, but the game did let you explore the world in a way that not a lot of other games did, certainly not at the time. But September of 2005 saw an even bigger event happening in the world of Naruto. The Naruto anime would premiere in Western territories for the very first time, fully dubbed in English, and the Naruto phenomenon was about to explode. But that is a story for another day. Thank you for watching the first part of the history and evolution of the Naruto games. Next episode, the war between Bandai and Tomy continues into the Western market, with both companies merging to keep up with one another. Very interesting stuff, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of our journey. If you're looking forward to Shinobi Striker, check out the video up there with a list of 10 Kekkei that we'd like to see in the game. For something else, there's also the video at the bottom, but as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!